Imagine waking up to find that the person you've been with for years now feels like a stranger. You reach for your spouse, but instead of the warmth and comfort you're used to, there's nothing. You feel like you're touching ice, and no matter how hard you try to fix it, the gap only widens. Is this just a phase, or could something darker be at play? Welcome to the world of Sihr, also known as black magic. At first it sounds like something out of an old myth, right? A strange tale spun to scare you. But no, Sihr can be incredibly real, especially when it starts to affect your marriage, particularly intimacy. You may find yourself wondering, why does my spouse suddenly seem cold? You try to make them laugh, initiate affection, but instead, there's this awkward silence that you just can't shake. It's not an argument, not a fight, but something feels off. You feel rejected, confused, and the emotional bond that once existed seems to fade. This isn't just distance, it's like an invisible wall. So what happened? Could it be Sihr? The thought might make you chuckle at first, until the patterns are undeniable. Suddenly, your once loving partner starts avoiding intimacy. You try, but no matter how much you try to connect, it feels as if you're reaching for a stranger. You push it aside and tell yourself, we're both just stressed. But then, this keeps happening. And you wonder, what's going on? Sihr in Islam isn't about casting spells like in those old fairy tales. It's a form of harm that can subtly affect relationships, especially marriages. It works its way into the emotional and physical aspects of a relationship, often manifesting as a breakdown in intimacy. Imagine you and your spouse once had a beautiful connected relationship, full of affection and love, but suddenly, intimacy becomes uncomfortable. It's like you've become roommates rather than partners in life. It doesn't stop there though. Sihr doesn't just affect the physical connection, it messes with your head too. Your spouse who once filled you with warmth now feels like a wall. You start to argue over ridiculous things like what to have for dinner or whose turn it is to take out the trash. You've never fought like this before. It's as if something is trying to put a wedge between you, and no matter how hard you try to fix it, the wedge only grows. And here comes the really bizarre part. The bedroom, that once sacred space, the one you shared with your partner, is now filled with awkwardness. Every time you try to initiate, it's met with hesitation. The love you once shared is now replaced by coldness, and you start wondering if the magic from a fairy tale has entered your real life. Your spouse's touch feels distant. There's no connection, no spark, just nothing. You might think, okay, maybe it's just a bad week, but the days go by and the feeling doesn't change. You look for answers. You wonder if your spouse has changed or if it's you. Then, there are strange dreams. You dream of them being distant or unfaithful. You wake up confused, unsure if what you saw was real or just your imagination running wild. But this isn't just stress. There's something eerie about the whole thing, something that feels unnatural. And that's when it hits you. This could be Sihr, manifesting in your marriage. Sihr in a marriage is like a silent thief that steals your connection, your warmth, and your love. It creeps in without notice until one day you wake up and realize the spark is gone. Now you're staring at your spouse, trying to understand what went wrong. But nothing makes sense. The love isn't there anymore. There's no fight, no big argument, just a cold, unexplainable distance. So what do you do when you feel the magic working against you? In Islam, the Quran and prophetic traditions provide powerful tools to fight back against Sihr. Ruqya, spiritual healing through recitations and supplications, is one of the most effective ways to protect yourself from the negative effects of Sihr. It's a reminder that love, faith, and prayer can break any spell, no matter how dark. With the right knowledge, patience, and a strong connection to Allah, you can fight back against the unseen force that is tearing your relationship apart. And while it may take time, the process of restoring your connection will begin. Seeking spiritual help, whether through prayer, Quranic verses, or professional assistance, the first step is recognizing the signs. If you notice a sudden shift in the way you and your spouse interact, Don't dismiss it as just a phase. Pay attention to those odd feelings, especially in intimacy. If your relationship feels like it's being pulled apart, there's a possibility that it could be due to something darker. And when you realize that, don't just sit back and let the magic work its evil. Seek help. The power of faith can overcome anything. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating insights into Islamic history and lifestyle.